Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Um, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to our ELC151 webinar, Crack the Code, Unlocking the Secrets of Nonlinear. In this webinar, you will learn how to interpret and comprehend nonlinear text, which is one of the important aspects of reading strategies. So, our guest speaker today is streaming directly from Negeri Sembilan, not from Shah Alam, but Negeri Sembilan, okay, outside of Selangor campus. So, it is my honor to introduce you to Mr. Muhammad Yadid Ashrai Hasanuddin, APB lecturer from UiTM campus, Kuala Pilah. How are you, Mr. Yadid?
Uh, I'm not doing well. I just had, cough, quite sometimes, but I'm okay today. Alhamdulillah, I'm still
Alham-
okay to present.
okay, okay, Alhamdulillah. Well,
Alhamdulillah.
I'm sorry to hear that. On behalf of our team, I'm really sorry that you are experiencing that. But it is still an honor to have you spend
Yeah,
some
it's
time
still an
on the.
honor from me as well to receive this opportunity. Thank you so much, Mariam.
Okay, thank you as well for being here. So,
Mm,
of course, before I pass the floor to Mr. Yadid, before he starts with his presentation and his sharing of knowledge regarding this topic, for the audience and the attendees, I would like to inform you that if you have questions during this lecture and this webinar, you can write them down on the chat box at the side of our live section here. Okay.
mm,
And besides the questions, the attendees also you need to pay attention to the link to the attendance form that will also be given in the box there. So please pay attention to those things, and also again, write your questions if you have them for Mr. Yadid regarding the topic. Okay, all
okay.
right. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Yadid to our virtual stage. So Mr. Yadid, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mariam. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to everyone. I hope you guys can bear with me since, it is a Friday afternoon and then everyone is already, having their lunch, probably they're like lying down on their bed and then while listening to my talk today. But still, all right, just bear with me, okay? And then, because we are going to do the reading strategies on how are you going to interpret nonlinear text, uh, crack the code, unlocking the secrets of nonlinear text. Okay, so I think most of you are from Shah Alam, Pucha Alam, right? So thank you so much for attending the webinar. So without further ado, okay, I'm going to, start with the first thing. All right. So what is a uh, linear and non-linear text? So what is the difference between linear and non-linear text? Yeah. All right. So basically, linear. When we talk about linear text, it is a traditional text that needs to be read from beginning to the end. All right. So usually the materials that you have encountered in the textbook, or research paper, okay, or novels, poems, short story, letters, educational texts, so those are linear texts. Okay, so when we talk about linear text, okay, so newspaper is one of the things. Okay, materials, reading materials that use linear text. Okay, so for non-linear text is about the opposite of linear text. Okay, so basically you need to understand that non-linear text, the information given using the visual aids. Okay, all right, it is being translated into a visual aids. All right, for example, like flow charts, graph. Okay, pie charts, bar graph, graphical. I'm sorry, I cannot see the graphical. I think what is it that? Okay, such as sorry, um, yes, knowledge maps and story maps. Okay, so those are non-linear text. Okay, so when we talk about linear and non-linear text, so that is the difference. A linear text is something that you usually read from beginning to the end. Okay, um, like textbook, all right, research paper. Okay, so basically you are for non-linear text is like graph. Okay, so later on, okay, I think most of you know that your last assessment is going to be reading test. All right, your final test is going to be the reading test. So one of the section is going to be a non-linear text passage. So you have to like know how are you going to transfer the informations um, from the non-linear text to become linear text. So that is the important part. All right, when you learn about linear and non-linear text, it's not just about answering the test. All right, in the future later on, you are going to do your final year project or your thesis. All right, so you are going to transfer the informations that you have written to become non-linear text, such as graph, okay, bar graph, or even line graph and whatnot. Okay, all right. So this is example of linear and non-linear text. Okay, so linear text, you can see that it is like a novel or textbook. All right, so you have like you have to read from beginning to the end in order for you to understand the informations given to you. However, for non-linear text is something that the graph here that shows the numbers, okay, the colors of the sections, and then you have the categories, and then you have the the variables, okay, in the non-linear text. Okay, all right, so now let's move on. So what is the purpose of using visual aids? All right, so some people, they would like, they don't want to read. Okay, basically they would, the use of visual aids is that it can aid the writer's expressions of ideas and the reader's understandings. All right, so it helps to summarize figures and show relationships or trends, so that the reader can grasp the information at a glance. Okay, so it is important, it is facilitate you to understand better the reading text than linear text. So that's why you have the visual aids. Okay, so to become non-linear text later on. Okay, all right. So that is the purpose. So there are categories of visual aids. All right. The first one would be tables. All right, so basically I know all of you know, okay, what is tables? All right, so tables is the arrangement of numerical data in horizontal or vertical rows. Okay, so figures, okay, is something that you have all mathematical visuals such as charts, graph, diagrams, etc, etc. Illustrations, okay, will be all visuals such as photographs, pictorial drawings, sketches, plan, maps, etc, etc. Okay, so today we're just going to focus on tables and figures. Okay, so because most of you are going to have, you are going to read a lot of research paper. I think I've been informed by your lecturers you are coming from spot rec. Am I right, students? Are you guys from spot rec faculty? Yes or no? Yes, okay. I see that Camila said that yes, most of you are I think some of you are from spot rec. All right, so and then from science students. Okay, yes, applied science students. My students, are you there? Are you there, my students? Yes or no? Oh yes, okay. Okay. All right. So most of you are going to read a lot of journal, all right, research journal. Then you need to understand. Okay, you need to understand the information given in the table or the figures. Okay, in order for you to like summarize the informations from the research paper. Okay, so that is the important part lah. All right. So now let's look at what is the functions of table. Okay, so the functions of table here is that it is helpful in consolidating informations. Okay, it consists of rows, columns of statistical data or alphabetical informations. Okay, and it can be constructed in three basic formats. Okay, open, rule, and box. Okay, so basically, I know all of you know what is table. Okay, Raja. Raja, is it the same? Or table? Okay, so table. Okay, so let's look at the example here. All right, so this is an example of table. Okay, so you have table description placed above the table. So it is important for you to identify. Okay, table to refer to what? Okay, for example, the description placed above the table is important for you to understand the data inside the row and the columns there. Okay, so what is all about? Okay, so tables are numbered according to the order which they are shown and referred into the text. Okay, so you need to know table 2 is what is the purpose of table 2. Okay, so if there is a descriptions of a complete sentence, meaning that you will, and that is the information as well. Okay, okay, so columns and rows labeled precisely using complete words. So columns and rows must be okay labeled and precisely using complete words, because it is easier for the readers to understand what is all about, what is the variable about. Okay, what is the the columns is all about. Okay, the numbers is important as well. Okay, all right, so now let's move on to the next one, which is the functions of figures. Figures ni in Malay we call it raja. Okay, table raja ke? I'm not sure. All right, so the functions of figures is that you have statistical data can be presented more clearly by the use of diagrams or graphs. Okay, so its limitation is that the number of items depicted must be small. Okay, its types includes bar charts, all right, pie charts, organization charts, flow charts, pictograms, and time series graph, which is the line charts lah. All right, so this is the most I think most of you are going to understand how these functions of these figures. Okay, all right, so how are you going to read the non-linear text of bar charts, okay, pie charts, as well as the line charts? Okay, so the functions of it is that to depict the informations in the non-linear text. All right, so this is an example of non the figures. Okay, so okay, figures must not begin a chapter or subchapter. Okay, usually there will be a reading passage. Okay, it will start about, there will be an introductions, explanations about the informations and whatnot. Then you will have the figures, okay, to show the numbers. Okay, so it will summarize the data in the reading passage. Okay, so it is important for you to understand, okay, the information first, and then after that, then you can understand the non-linear text after that. Okay, all right, so all right, now let's move on to the functions of bar charts. Okay, so what is the function of bar charts? Okay, it is used to show the values of one or more variables over a certain period of time at a particular point in time. All right, so items are shown graphically by horizontal or vertical bar of uniform width with lengths proportional to the values they represent. Okay, so usually I think most of you have accounted what already know what is bar charts. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the example of bar charts. So the first one would be the horizontal bar charts. Okay, So this is the example of horizontal bar charts. Okay. Um, what does it mean by horizontal bar charts? Is that all right? The numbers is horizontally shown to you. All right. So you can see that it compares item from the same period of time, but and or under the same condition. Okay, but each bar represent a separate items to be compared for the same condition or time interval that applies to the other items. Okay, so you can see that the horizontal, there will be a category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4. All right. However, the series here is the variables. Okay. It shows the number lah. Okay, series 1, series 2, and series 3 is the variables, and then the category is the, the situations. Okay, the periods. Okay, for example, 2001. Okay, 2001 here shows the numbers of applied science student is 4.5. The numbers of halal students is 2.5, for example, series 2. Okay, series 1 here is applied science. Series 3 is um spot rec students. Okay, so that is the variables, and then the category here shows the years, for example. Okay, so that is how you read horizontal bar charts. Okay, whereby you have series 1 and 2 is uh the variables. Okay, and then after that you have the year. Okay, so that is the horizontal bar charts. Okay, now this is vertical bar charts. Okay, it is effective in showing values of a given item over a period of years and also comparing several items over a time period. All right, so same goes with horizontal bar chart just now. It's just that it translated into vertical. All right, it shows the data vertically. All right, so you have category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4. So for example here, you want to show the numbers of the students from the faculty by years. Okay, so 2000 category 1 category here will show you the years. Okay, series 1, 2, and 3 is the numbers of the student from different faculty. All right, so just now same goes with horizontal. It's just that it's translated it into vertical bar charts. Am I going too fast, students? So if I'm going too fast, you can just let me know. Okay, do you guys understand? Hopefully you guys understand that I my explanation just now about vertical bar charts. No. Yes, Aina Swa, which one you don't understand about it? No, understand. Okay. All right. Okay, I thought you don't understand. Okay. All right. You understand it. Okay, okay. All right. So yes. So I hope you understand. So this is how you translated the informations. Okay. From linear text to become non-linear text lah. All right. If it's about the years and the numbers of the students. So like I said just now. All right. So another one is that okay, yes, okay. I see that. Inaswa. All right, now another one is that the component of bar charts. Okay. So this one is a bit different from just now. Okay. But it's a bit how do I say uh, uh you need to be careful when you read these bar charts, the component bar charts, because um the series is being combined in one graph, right? So it's a bit tricky when you want to read to understand the informations from these component bar charts. Why? Because the series or the variables is combined in one graph. Okay, but the numbers here is still the same from 0 till 14, for example, right? But then you have to remember, um, you have to remember that, you need to start each series from number one, for example, right, from zero. Okay, so it's a bit tricky when you want to read the information here. All right, usually, the researcher or the writers would not use this kind of component bar chart. So yeah, because it's quite tricky for the readers to understand. Sometimes, the readers won't understand as well and don't get the data from it. Okay, so because if you have a look here from my slides here, all right, series one, for example, category one here. All right, series one to category one, you can see that series ones have like four. Okay, but then series two, it starts from number four to number six, for example. So you have to remember the numbers is not the same with the line here, all right, with the six here. All right, so you have to start from zero. So zero, one, and two. All right, so basically series two is two. The data, all right, the percentage is two, for example. And then series three, it starts from number six to number eight. So you have to remember that you must start from zero. All right, again, all right, again. So zero, one, and two. So series three would be 2%. So somehow it can be quite tricky for the reader to understand the component bar charts. Okay, so you have to be careful when you encounter this kind of non-linear text. Okay, so basically you need to start again from zero. Don't just simply, okay, series three you put eight. No. Okay, uh, you have to remember, you have to start from zero. Okay, so I hope you understand that. All right, now we're moving on to timeline series. Okay, at the time series graph or line charts. Okay, so it shows the relationship between two variables. This one also can be quite tricky. Okay, if you have many lines, so you need to focus. Okay, for example, the point of the category. So here you can see that the category stops at 2.5. Okay, and then category 2, you can see it stops at 4.5, and then category 3 at 1.8, I guess, 1.9, and then category 4, it stops at 2.5, 2.7. Okay, so when you read, you really need to see which the axis is stop. Okay, which axis, okay, that stops to the number. Okay, you need to see that carefully when we talk about time series or line chart. Yeah, okay, so you need to be very careful when you read line charts. Okay, later on I'm going to give you some practice using line chart. Okay, don't worry. Okay, now let's move on to the next part, which is the function of pie charts. Okay, so what is the functions of pie chart is that it can be used to represent parts of a whole group. When we talk about pie charts, okay, so it's easy for us to understand, okay, because the values, the different values of each item are drawn in proportion to the slices of the pie. Okay, so it may be constructed on a percentage basis or the actual figures. Okay, so the circle, which is divided into segments, add up to 100%. So you have to remember, kalau pie chart, if it's pie chart, the total amount would be 100% lah. Okay, so it'll be much easier for you to understand. Okay, so it can be used effectively when there are not more than 7 or 8 segments. Okay, and when it is required to show the relative proportions of figures that make up the total of 100%. Okay, all right, now this is example of pie charts. Okay, all right, so it's easy for you to understand pie charts, am I right? All right, so basically you can see straight away 8%. You just look at the numbers, okay? You just look at the categories: comedy, actions, the color, right? The color of the categories. You have romance, drama, horror, foreign, science fictions. Okay, so based on the variables here, you can you know the title of the pie charts would be, the genre of the movies, for example. All right, so and then you can see that the slices here, okay, shows up to 27% likes to watch comedy, all right, movie. And then 80% here, 80% out of 100% likes to watch action movies. And then romance, 40%, okay. And then you have drama, which is 40%, and then 11% horror, and then foreign 8%, and science fiction would be 8% as well. So for science fiction, it's not that complicated. All right, it's very straightforward for you to understand. Because there's already, it is already slices like pie. Like a pie, and then you can understand the data given from the category, and the colors of the slices. Okay, so it'd be much easier for you to understand that. Okay, now let's move on. All right, the serious part, whereby how are you going to transfer informations from linear text to non-linear text. Okay, so when we talk about the transformation, the transfer, okay, from linear text to non-linear text. Okay, basically I'm just this is not going to be tested to all of you, but I'm just giving knowledge to all of you to know how are you going to transfer the informations from non-linear text to from linear text to non-linear text. Okay, so the first one would be that you need to read the passage to get a general idea of the subject matter. Okay, once you know the general idea of the subject matter, then you decide which non-linear text, or which graphs or which figures that you are going to use for your non-linear text. Okay, look at the visual to identify what information needed. Okay, so that is the second one. The third one would be that locate the relevant informations and transfer it to the charts. Okay, and you must use keywords. Okay, for example, when we talk about the numbers of students intake in University Technologi Mara Malaysia, for example. So you get the informations from your reading, and then you are going to transfer it to the non-linear text. So you decide which one you are using. Are you using pie charts, or are you going to use bar charts? Okay, so if the information is not that complex, then I guess you can use um, pie charts. Okay, but if the informations are very complex, okay, then you have to use bar graphs or any other graphs. Okay, all right, now let's move on to the next one, which is the steps to transfer informations from non-linear text to linear text. Okay, so this is the part whereby you need to this is going to be tested to at the end of the semesters, whereby you are going to transfer informations from non-linear text to linear text. Okay, so what is the first thing that you need to do when you are going to transfer the information from non-linear text to linear text? So the first thing that you need to do is that, okay, read the title and labels, okay, as they will give you some clues to the informations in non-linear text. Okay, so the labels, the titles, the sorry, uh, the variables, all the things inside the non-linear text, you need to read and identify it. Okay, identify it, then it will give you some clues to the informations. in the nonlinear text. Okay, and then after that, you have to identify the types of visual aids. Okay, what is the types of visual aids that is being used? Okay, is it bar graphs? Okay, or is it like a pie charts, or is it line graph? Okay, so you have to identify that. Okay, because it will be much easier for you to, to extract the data from the nonlinear text to become the linear text. So because that's the only thing that you are going to have. Okay, the nonlinear text. Okay, for example, you only have bar graphs there, and then the question asks you the informations. What is the uh, what is the numbers of these particular cases? Okay, for example, in 2017, okay, how many cases has been reported? So you have to like find the information in the graphs. Okay, so that is how you you identify the informations. Okay, and then make sure you understand the scales of measurements used in the graphs. Is it percentage? Okay, is it yearly? Okay, or is it is it just the numbers from 0 to hundreds? Okay, so you have to identify that. Okay, the scales of measurement is very important when you read nonlinear text, because that is the data that you are trying to get, or as sorry, extract it out and then put it in the non-linear text. Okay, and then write a general conclusion that can be drawn from informations of the visual aids. And lastly, yes, this is the last part whereby you are going to write a general conclusion. So what you understand about the non-linear text. Okay, all right, now, so how to describe charts and diagrams. So this is examples of language expressions that you can use when you are trying to, okay, this is the this is the language expressions that you can use when you want to describe informations in the nonlinear text. For example, the pie chart is about what? Okay, the bar charts deals with all right. So for example, the bar charts deals with the numbers of mental health issues among students, for example. All right, the line graph clearly shows that the numbers of students has increased, for example. All right, so that is the way of you translate the informations from non-linear text to linear text. You cannot just simply put the numbers. Okay, so most of you ITS students did that. You lost a lot of marks just because you don't write in a full sentence. Okay, so when we receive answer script, students just put the numbers. Huh. All right, so you have to remember this. You need to answer it in a full sentence. So when you write down your answer, you need to write down like this. The line graph clearly shows what is it all about. You don't just simply put the title of the line graph. No. Okay, so for example, the question asks you you know the question asks you that what is the line graph is all about, for example, all right, you just put the title of the line graph. So what, it can be something else. Your lecturer can like question you. It can be something else as well, because you don't have a full sentence, or you don't have the you know the introductions to show that what is the line graph is all about. So you need to write down the line graph clearly shows what is all about. Okay, so the slices of the pie charts compare about what. Okay, all right, the chart is divided into how many parts? Okay, for example, there are two parts. For example, line graph, usually there will be two parts. Okay, all right, so it highlights, for example, the bar chart highlights the number of students participate in the webinar, for example. Okay. Malaysia has the largest number of what is it? Can someone say to me? Can someone like write down their in the comments? Malaysia has the largest number of what? Students? You can write down anything. All right. Malaysia has the largest number of what? What do you think? So this is how you you transform you translate the informations from sorry, from non-linear text to become linear text. Okay, so Malaysia has the second largest number of holiday sorry and largest numbers of holiday, for example. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is how you can you describe charts or diagram. Okay. The number of students decreases, for example. Okay, or goes down, sinks by. Okay. What else? The numbers of graduates does not change or remain stable. All right. So yes. Yes, okay. In your test, there will be 5 questions with 5 marks regarding nonlinear text. Correct. Yes. So yes, you have to focus. Um, how are you going to write down your answer? So I'm giving you example just now. How are you going to describe charts, okay, and diagrams? Okay. All right. Now let's move on. So this is another example, language expressions that you can use. Okay, the verb and the adjectives and adverbs that you can use. For example, if the charge is going up, so you can describe the charge increase, all right, or rise, or grow, or went up, or soar, or double up, all right, or multiply, or climb, or exceed, for example. All right, so the numbers of drivers in Malaysia climbs up, all right, in 2023. The data shows that the numbers of drivers in Malaysia climbs up, all right, or you can say double up, all right. So you need to you can use this kind of you can use this verb when you are describing the 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 non-linear the informations uh, in non-linear text to linear text. Okay, the number of visitors from Indonesia has exceeded uh, has exceeded from the expectations. Okay, from Ministry of Tourism in Malaysia. Okay, so that's how you describe the non-linear text to become linear text. Okay, and then if it's down, okay, usually we will most of you are going to use decrease. Okay, but you can also use word drop, or fall, or decline, okay, or plummet, all right, or half, or depreciate, or plunge. Okay, so for example, the number of visitor from China uh, are decreasing since COVID-19, for example. All right, the number of visitor from China is decreasing after COVID-19, right? Or you can say the number of visitor from overseas has is dropping since 2019, for example. Okay. Okay, now let's look at the next one, which is up and down. Up and down. Okay, you don't say, for example, the line chart, right? Usually, when we you can see that there is a up and down in the line chart when we talk about how from the non-linear text, you can see that The line chart shows the up and down, up and down. So how are you going to describe it? All right. So we use it fluctuate, all right, because it is not stable. All right. So it is fluctuate. All right. So the number is fluctuating. All right. So that's how you describe the non-linear text to become linear text, or undulated or deep. Okay. Same, if it's stable, all right, if it's if the numbers is the same, then you can say stable, level of, remain, constant, or steady, or consistent. All right, the number is consistent from 2017 to 2019, for example. All right, if there is a changes, you can use this adverb, whereby you can use gently, or gradually, slightly, steadily, a little. All right, so you need to use, okay, you need to enrich your vocabulary using these words, because later on you are going to describe your own nonlinear text. Trust me, when you do your FYP, science students, I think most of my students are from applied science, as well as halal management and sport rec as well. Okay, so later on when you do your FYP, okay, these are the things that you need to use. These are the vocabularies that you need to use. Okay, gradually, slightly, steadily, a little. Okay, so if there is a changes, suddenly, sharply, dramatically, steeply, or sudden. Okay, if the numbers reach a peak, all right, you can say at the top of the graph, that you can say the numbers of joggers has reached a peak in 2018, for example, or it is peak at, okay, 2022. All right, then the number of COVID-19 is peak at 2021, for example. Okay, the number of cases daily in Malaysia has reached its highest level, okay, today. So you can see how Dr. Hisham, usually if he speaks in English, this is the the vocabulary that he use. Okay, so and then after that you have bottom. All right, bottom out, sank to a true, and then the lowest level. Are you guys there? Are you guys still there with me, students? Am I talking alone here, or are you guys still there with me, listening to my talk? Do you guys have any questions? No questions? Yes or no? Huh. Okay, no questions. So far, no questions. Okay. So do you guys understand so far? Yes, okay. The rest of you, only Liana. Only Liana said yes. She understand. The rest of you, are you guys okay? Yes, okay. All right. All right. Can I move to the next part? Okay. All right. All right. Now, so this is the language, expression that you can use as well for the graph. Okay. So the graph from source, okay, for example, the graph from New Straits Times present data on, for example, okay. All right, and then this is you can use this. Okay, I'm going to give you slide. Yes, I'm going to give the slides to your lectures after this, so you can, refer the slides. If you want to do revisions, how are you going to write down the expressions? Yeah. Okay, so the graph from, for example, shows, illustrates what. Okay, so this is what I said just now. Okay, students like to, students like to just put down the answer, just put down the name of the table. You need to write down in a full sentence like this lah. So the graph from source, okay, shows and illustrate what. Okay, if we look at this graph on, okay, and then the title of the graph, and then you have the source, if you have the source, and then you can see that, so this is how you should answer your test later on, or this is how you should describe your non-linear text, okay, to become linear text. Okay, the y-axis vertical is, is what variable, and then the x-axis shows the year, for example. Okay, so this line represent what. Okay, so this is how you write down the answer. Write down how are you going to describe the non-linear text to become linear text. This line represent what. Okay, these columns are, these segments are what. All right, these rows are for what. Okay, so these are the the introductory phrases that you can use, the language phrases that you can use when you are describing your non-linear text. Okay, all right, now another one is that the phrases that you can use would be that overall, for overall summary, for example, overall there is changes, for example, or there has been fluctuations of the numbers, for example. All right, generally there is. Okay, so you can use these phrases when you are writing down your informations, okay, from non-linear text to linear text. So what you can see is that from the graph we can see that there is an increment. Okay, so this is how you describe from non-linear text to linear text. Okay, I would like to focus your attention on the numbers. Okay, for example, the changes. So this is how you write down. Okay, you can use these language expressions when you are writing down the informations from non-linear text to linear text. A key significant area is, okay, so which one is the significant one? All right, so you find out in the non-linear text, probably there will be one significant area. Usually in the bar graph or pie chart. Okay, for example, out of 100%, there will be 90% agrees. So a key significant area here, it shows that, okay, two key significant areas are, okay, so you can use that language phrases. An important point is, okay, two important points I would like to illustrate are, okay, so what is interesting here? So this is how you are trying to illustrate important point. Okay, so an interesting observation here. Okay, the graph illustrates what. Okay, so you can use these language expressions. Okay, for when you are describing your your non-linear text. Okay, so I also give you examples here as well, all right, from the language of non-linear text. Okay, so you can use prepositions between, for example, here between 1995 and 2000. From 1995 to 2000. Okay, if there is a movement down, then you can say fell, decline, all right, or drop, or decrease, or sank, or went down, or slid. Okay, movement, if it's up, then you can say rose or rise. Okay, went up, increase, grew, bounced back, rallied, recovered, or soared. Okay, and then after that, if there is no movement, okay, if there is no movement, you can say remain steady. All right, were unchanged, did not change, remain constant, remain stable, stabilize. Okay, flatten out, level off. Okay, strong word. If it's suddenly it's there is a drastic changes, so you can say shot up, rocketed. All right, uh, surge, plummeted, plunge, dive. Okay, so this is the strong word that you can use. Okay, nouns, a flattening out, a stabilizations, a leveling off, a fall, a fluctuation. So you can use this. Adjective, slight, a little, okay, a lot, sharp, sudden, steep, dramatic, gradual, gentle, okay, steady, substantial, considerable, okay, and adverbs, okay. In that order, respectively, correspondingly, you can use this. Okay. All right. Now, next one. So let's look at this. The example. Okay. You can see how the sentence is being used. Okay, to translate the non-linear text to become linear text. Okay, students. If we are in the meeting together, I usually ask my students to read. Okay. So, for example, here, figure 8 shows occupancy rate for a budget hotel Mawa from January to June 8. All right. So, this, okay, now, what is the type of the what is the type of graph here? Someone can answer in the comment. What is the type of a graph here? First, we need to identify the type of visual aids. So what is the type of visual aids here? Can someone answer it in the comment? Huh. Just now, students. So what is the type of the graph here? Anyone? I Yes. What is the type of graph shows in my slide here? Hi students, hi. The time series graph? Yes, okay, the time series graph. Thank you, Christina. Graph, no, okay. So what graph? Okay, the time series graph. Yes, okay. So line graph, okay, it can be line graph. Okay, so you can see that it is a line graph. Okay, very good, Christina. All right, so now what we need to identify the title of the graph. So what is the title of the graph here? Okay, it shows that you can see that figure 8. Okay, 8.6. Okay, that is the title of paragraph. Occupancy rate for a budget hotel Mawa from January to June 2008. All right, so now you can see that the non-linear text is being translated to become linear text. Okay, so for example here, figure 8.6 shows the fluctuations, okay, in the occupancy rate of Mawa, a budget hotel for the month of January to June. Okay, so fluctuations, right? Like I said, there is no, it is not constant, right? The line is up and down, up and down. So you can describe it as the fluctuations, okay? Fluctuations in the occupancy rate of Mawa, a budget hotel for the months of January to June. Okay, the busiest period is the part of the year. Is the first part of the year. Okay, you can see that the first part is the busiest one because there is a sharp increase between January with 450 people staying at the hotel. You can see that 450. Okay, so you need to look at the numbers here. All right, now after this, numbers drop sharply. Sharply to less than 200 from February to March. See, this is how you describe the non-linear text to linear text. Okay, and then between March and April, the numbers are steeply, steep. Sorry, I cannot see it. Wait, okay. Yeah, the numbers rise steeply but decrease to 200 and remain at a plateau, okay, from May to June. Overall, the graph shows the occupancy rate is the highest at the beginning of the year. All right, so that's how you translate the informations from non-linear text to linear text. Okay. All right, now let's look at the bar graph here. Okay, so this is bar graph showing that males and females. Okay, this is a category, and then you have the variables here: better coverage, customer service, lower rates, popularity, number of students. Okay, so the figure B shows the factors of choosing a service provider. Right, so the title here is factors of changing service provider. Right, now, how are you going to translate it into a linear text? Okay, so this is how you translate it into a linear text. The figure shows the proportion of male and female students in their choice of service, okay, provider according to the factors of better coverage, customer service, lower rates, and brand names. Nampak tak? Alright, can you see? You need to, tell the readers the informations from the bar graph. So there are two male category, which is divided between male and female, and their choice of service provider according to the factor, which are better coverage. Okay. So we need to take in the middle between 2 months. What do you mean, Christina? Oh, the one for times a series. So we need to take in the middle between 2 months, like, yes. Okay. We need to take it at the point of January here, and then you can see February. All right. So you have to look at the axis there. Okay, for time series. Each of month, you can see there is a stop. All right, there is a stop of numbers. So you need to take, like, for example, March here, you need to take at the 1.5 here will be 1.6, right? So you can see that the axis, all right, ends at where, all right? So that's how you read line charts, okay? Like in the middle of January and February. Yes, okay, that's how you describe it. All right, for example, January to February. How does the line graph show? So you can say that it increased, and then after that, from February to March, uh, uh, you need to describe the numbers. So it goes down. For example, it decreases to 160, and then from March to April, you have to describe it. All right. So it increased steadily. For example. Okay, Christina, do you understand? I'm sorry, I have to like go back just now because Christina asked me the question just now. Can I? All right. Okay. Thank you. All right, now. All right, now let's look at again to the bar charts here. All right, so there are differences and similarity in the selections of the features of service provider by both male and female students of Permata universities. So you are going to look in. This is a bit, lengthy because there are four variables, okay, four factors that you need to describe. So each of the factors you must describe the differences between males and females, okay. So that's how you describe bar graph. All right, you when you want to describe bar graph, you have to describe all of the factors here. All right, from better coverage to customer service, lower rates and popularity, okay, to show the differences between males and females. Okay, so that's how you translate non-linear text to non-linear text to linear text from a bar graph. Okay, so you have to like really describe it. Okay, the biggest difference between the two genders were in the selections of lower rates and popularity of the service provider. All right, in the selections of lower rate, male students made up 48% of the respondents. So let's look at the lower rates. Okay, male 48%. Okay, okay, all right. And then on the contrary, the percentage of female students who selected lower rate was just 10%. Terbalik ni. I think yes. All right. Okay. So whereas, okay, and then after that, however, the trend was reversed when it comes to the factors of popular brand name product. Here, male students chose popularity of service provider with 10%, whereas female students put more value on popularity of service provider with 35%. Okay, so that's how you describe bar graph. All right, every factors you need to describe it to see the differences between the variables. Okay, just now line graph different because you need to describe the process, the numbers, whether it goes up and then goes down. This one you need to describe according to the percentage of the bar graph. Okay, so that's why bar graph, it can be quite lengthy. So I hope you understand that. All right, now, alamak, can you see the... Okay, I hope you can see this. All right, can you see my question there? All right, let's do the practice together. Before we end our talk today, let's do it the practice together. All right, I hope you can see the exercise there. Practice 1. Can you see the all right, yes, I think you can see that. All right, let's do the exercise together. All right, so let's look at the first practice. Okay, study the graph and answer the following questions. Okay, reported offenses in cities with a populations of 100,000 and over. All right, so now you can see the blue color here. All right, would be rape, and then red color would be robbery, and then I think the black color would be aggravated assault. Okay, now, so the question asks you, what is the purpose of the graph? Can someone answer it in the chat box? What is the purpose of the graph? All right, you can use the language phrases that I told you just now. What is the purpose of the graph? Huh. Let's wait for the students to answer the questions, yeah? The rest, all right, you can answer the question. What is the purpose of the graph? The title, yes. Just now, of course, you have to mention the title, but then you have to use the language expressions that I told you just now. So, what is the purpose of the graph? The bar graph. Ah, so write down the full sentence. Class, anyone? The purpose of the graph is the huh? No, Aliza, that is incorrect. Okay, so how are you going to answer it? The purpose, okay, the bar graph purpose is reported offences in cities with the populations of hundreds and over. Yes, correct. Yes, good, Ainan Answa. The bar graph purpose is reported offences in cities with a populations of hundred thousands and over. Very good. All right, can someone give me another answer? All right, to determine. All right, so the bar graph is to determine the reported offences in cities with the populations of hundreds or hundreds thousand and over. All right, so you need to write down full sentence. The bar graph shows the reported offences in cities with the populations of hundreds thousands over. So that's how you answer the questions. Okay, that's how you translate the non-linear text to become linear text. Okay, to determine. Okay, the bar graph is to determine the reported offences cities with the populations hundred thousands and over. All right, so good. Okay, I can see that you can understand how are you going to translate the informations from bar graph to become linear text. Okay, now let's look at question number 2. Which city had a similar number of aggravated assaults and robberies? Okay, so you can see that in the graph, the cities are divided into A, B, C, D, E, and F. All right. So now, which cities had a similar number of aggravated assaults and robberies? The bar graph purpose about reported offences in cities with the populations of over 100,000. Okay. Uh, you know, the sentence is there is an error, okay, in your sentence. Okay, you can change the sentence to become, the bar the purpose of the bar graph is to report offences in city with the populations of over 100,000 and over. Okay. All right. To get a full mark, you have to write down your answer in a full sentence. True. Yes. If you want to get a full marks in your reading test, you need to write down in a full sentence. Of course, uh, it must be grammatically correct. Okay, just now, Kisnina, you need to change your sentence structure to become grammatically correct. You said it. The purpose of the bar graph is to report offences in city with the populations of over 100,000 and over 100,000. Okay, so that's how you change the sentence, Christina. Yeah. All right. All right. E, right? Is it this? Which city has similar number of aggravated assaults and robbery? Azmina, you have to answer it in a full sentence, Azmina. This is my student, I think. Azmina. So how are you going to answer it in a full sentence? Students, how are you going to answer it in a full sentence? The city that has similar number of aggravated assault and robberies is the ECT. Very good. Yes, Aina Suha. Yes. That's how you answer the questions. Okay. The city that has similar numbers of aggravated assaults and robberies is the ECT. Very good, Aina Suha. Okay, now let's look at question number 3. Which criminal offense should the authorities pay more attention to? Okay, now this is the part where you need to make an inference. Okay, where you have to create your own reasons. Okay, how are you going to, you have to make an inference. Okay, so which criminal offense should the authorities pay more attention to? Okay, which one? Is it rape, robbery, or aggravated assault? Assault, sorry. Aggravated assault, right? Which one? All right, students. Which one should, which criminal offense should the authority pay more attention to? Look at the bar graph. Which one do you think has the highest number? Most of the city that has the highest number. Students. Anyone would like to answer? All right, Hanina, Natasha. The criminal offense that the authorities should pay more attention to is robbery, as the number of reported offenses of robbery is higher than the other offenses is this in each city. Very good. Yes. So this is how you should answer your uh sorry, Aina Suha. The criminal offense that the authorities pay more attention to is the robberies crime. It has shown in the bar graph for the A city, robbery stands out of other crimes. Very good, Aina Suha. Alright, Hanina as well. Okay. You answered very in a full sentence. Okay, the authorities should pay more attention to robbery. Okay, why? Why, Hafi? Uh, you need to state the reason why. Okay, if not, you don't get marks. Okay, there's no like half marks if you don't give reasons. If you answer only like the authority should pay more attention, then you get 0, because you need to state, okay, why. Okay, give your reason. Why? Okay, because the numbers of robberies for each cities shows high number. Okay, All right, so let's look at the next one. A, because it is the most higher numbers of criminal case. Wait, I need to read. Azmina, you need to answer in a full sentence, okay? So, for example, the authorities should pay more attention to robbery cases because, okay, most of the cities shows the, shows that the robbery cases has, the robbery cases is the highest numbers among other criminal offenses. Okay, so that's how you translate it into the answer. Okay, now, number 4. Which city is the probably the safest to live in? A full sentence must have a subject and a verb. Yes. Very okay. All right, now, which city is probably the safest to live in? The safest city to live in is all right, good. Aina Suha. All right, the safest city to live in is, all right. So the answer is F city. All right, good. All right, now let's move on to the next one. Oh, I hope you can see the question there. All right. So you can see there are two types of visual aids here. Okay. The first one would be line graph. Okay. Number of law students graduating between 2003 and 2007 in country A. And then you have number of people in the legal professions in 2007. Okay. So this is a pie chart. Okay. All right. Now let's look at number 1 first. All right. Sorry. Let's look at the line chart. All right. Line chart here, you can see the, you know, the sorry. Axis Y shows number of graduates. Okay, and then you have axis X shows the year. Okay, axis Y you have 0 until 2500, and then axis X you have 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, and 2007. Okay, for pie chart you have number of people in the legal professions in 2007. Right, so the brown color will be lawyers, and then the blue color will be paralegals and legal assistants. The red color will be court reporters. The green color will be law clerks, and then the dark blue color will be arbitrators and mediators and conciliators. Okay, now let's look at number 1. The first one, how would you describe the number of law students graduating year on year? So the question asks you, how would you describe the number of law students graduating year on year? Okay. So just now, remember you need to use the word fluctuate or steadily increase. Remember? So this is the time that you are going to use that particular language phrases. Okay. So from 2003, okay. Still, okay. The number of law students graduating year on year can be described as increasing. I have to ask your lecturer, is it correct or incorrect? Madam Afina, what do you think? CGCT team, what do you think? The number of law students graduating year on year can be described as increasing. What do you think? Is it correct or incorrect? No, the question asks, how would you describe the number of law students graduating year on year? And then the students answered, the number of law students graduating year on year can be described as increasing. Is it correct? No, right? I don't think it's correct because you have to describe the you have to describe, yes, unfortunately no, you have to describe the number of the students graduating year on year. So basically you need to show you need to describe from year to year. All right, so you need to say like this, okay? The number of law students graduating from 2003, okay, shows to 2004 shows that there is a little you know, there is a little increment, okay? And then there is a, and then after that you can say from 2004 to 2005, okay? It shows that it shows the number of the students graduating slowly increase, okay? And then after that you can say and then from 2005 to 2007, the number of students graduating steadily increase. That's how you answer the questions, because the question asks you how would you describe the number of law students graduating year on year. Okay, so you have to describe yearly. You cannot just simply describe the number of law students graduating year on year can be described as increasing. No, you cannot say that. Okay, so you have to describe year by year. So like I said just now, okay, from 2003, 2002, 2004, the number it shows there is an increment of students graduating from law course, and then after that 2004 to 2005, and then 2005 to 2007. Okay, anyone can answer that questions? Just now, I think I showed you just now. This is similar like this. It is similar like this. All right. Can you see? Just now, it is a fluctuations. Okay. If you want to start, there is a steady increase of the numbers of law students graduating between 2003 and 2007. Full stop. From 2003 to 2007, from 2003 to 2004, a slightly increase, and then after that, a steadily increase. Okay, so that's how you describe it. Okay, now, it's okay. You can try after this. Okay, let's get the next questions. True or false? In 2007, less than half of the people in legal profession comprised non-lawyers. All right, now this question is referred to pie chart. Okay, true or false? In 2007, less than half of the people in legal profession comprised non-lawyers. Students, what do you think? All right, let's do calculation here. I'm not good with maths. So let's look at the questions there. True or false? In 2007, less than half of the people in legal profession comprise non-lawyers. So you need to see the numbers of non-lawyers here is 56%. So the rest of it would be non-lawyers professions. So basically, it is less than 50% already. So the answer is students. The answer is true or false. Huh, class. True. All right, good. All right, true, because you can see that 50 out of most of less than half. It's already less than half, okay? Because you can see that 10 plus 2 plus 8 plus 24, it is less than half, okay? All right, so the answer is true, okay? So which is the preferred profession among law graduates? The Okay, answer it in a full sentence. Okay, which is the preferred profession among law graduates? Answer it in a full sentence, you get full marks for it. Anyone? Okay, thank you, Hanina. All right, the preferred profession among law graduates is lawyers. Okay, good. Okay, now number 4 would be that the last questions. Okay, before we end our webinar today. Okay, which group of people make up the minority of legal professions? Okay, so minority. Last one. Let's look at the pie charts there. Which one is the minority? The minority, the minority of legal. Sorry. Okay, which group of people make up the minority of the legal professions? Anyone? Last one, last one. Anyone would like to try? The last questions. Which group of people make up the minority of legal professions? Let's look at the pie charts there. So you can see that 2%. So who is the group? Which group is the 2%? Very good. Yes, Aina Sua. The group of people make up the minority of legal profession is law clerks. Law clerks make up the minority of the legal professions. Okay, so that is the answer. Basically, that's how you describe the answer. Okay, you translate the informations from non-linear text to linear text. Group of people make up the minority of legal minority is law clerks. Okay, good. All right. So I think that's all. So I hope you can understand. All right, the informations. The knowledge for today's webinar. On how are you going to translate the non-linear text to linear text. And so I think your lecture will give you more practice after this. Okay, for you to describe, especially the one that I mentioned to you just now, number one. All right, this is the type of questions most of the students did not get correct. Okay, because they just simply answer it increasing. Right? No, you have to describe the number of the you have to describe. If the question asks you year on year, meaning that you need to describe it by yearly. Okay, so this is the only practice that I can give it to you now. So I think your lecture will give to you more practice on how to interpret the non-linear text and then translate it into linear text. So I hope for these sessions you get some ideas on how to to translate or to interpret the non-linear text. Okay, to become and then translate it to linear text. So I think that's all for today. Thank you so much, students. You know, join the meeting today and then listen to my talk today. Thank you so much. I hope you can get something from my talk today. Okay, especially my class who attend from Kuala Pilah. All right. I hope you can get something from my webinar today, and also from from Shah Alam. All right, Sport Right students and the rest of other course code. All right. So I hope you can get something from this talk. So thank you so much. I pass the floor to Mariam back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yadid, for such a thorough and insightful explanation of non-linear text. We hope that the attendees and all the students have learned so much from today's webinar, especially since this topic will be asked in your reading test later. So hopefully all of you are able to pay attention to what Mr. Yadid just talked about, and also be given the cooperation on the exercises and
Yeah.
ask proper answers and all that. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So unfortunately, though, that's all the time that we have
Yeah.
for today. So on behalf of our CGCT team, I would like to once again express our gratitude to our guest speaker, Mr. Yadid Ashrai Hasanuddin, and
Thank
also
you.
to all of
Thank you
the
to you
attendees.
too, Mariam.
Thank you. Okay, for
Thank you.
sparing a bit of your time with us on this Friday evening.
Evening, yes.
Exactly. A bit of a
Exactly,
challenge,
exactly.
yeah. A bit of a
Yes,
challenge, right? But we are here, so
we're
we
here.
make it.
Thank you so
Uh,
much, everyone from Pucat Perdana who attends to the meeting. I hope I get to see you again later in other webinars. I hope so. Okay, from Pucat Perdana, Pucat Alam, as well as Shah Alam. All right. Thank you so much for attending the webinar. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Yes, and before we end this webinar, don't forget to write the attendance form that has been shared in the chat box. And for the students, if you need the slides to refer to later for a revision, Mr. Yadid will pass them to your lecturers and then they will upload the slides to their respective classes. Okay, so don't worry about it. You'll still be able to refer to them later. So we hope that someday our path will cross again, and then
Inshallah.
yes, and then we will be able to join this webinar again with Mr. Yadid and probably other lecturers as well. So
Inshallah.
with that, thank you so much. Until next time, goodbye everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum. Selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat Raya.
Still not late, right? To wish Selamat Hari Raya to everyone.
Around 10 days left, yes.
Yes.